You ready to kick this thing off, Todd?
Yeah, let's get it started. So welcome to Hoppy Hanukkah. My name is Todd Summers.
And I'm Chad Brodsky. We'll be your drinking buddies and hosts for the next 7 nights. Also, my wife made sure I had to say Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Thanks to Liana for that. And so since it's night 2 of Hanukkah, we are going to open our night 2 beers. We encourage you to do the same. So I have my
All right, I have to get mine.
set here.
Hope everyone liked that first beer. Mine just...
Yeah.
Oh. That went bad.
Look at that.
Oh, wow. You're really good. You already had it. I'm going to do it like for everyone. So hopefully...
Yeah, let them know. I can't wait. I'm not that patient.
Yeah, you probably already drank it. No, I'm just kidding. You didn't.
You never know.
All right.
Look at that.
Put this one back.
That's the good stuff right there.
Todd, by the way, I am loving your outfit. Like,
Chad, I was thinking the same thing about you. I was just like, this guy knows how to shop.
I don't know. Like, it just both of us happen to have the same wardrobe. Like, it's not like we planned it or anything.
I woke up this morning and I was like, I know what I'll wear tonight. And I'm just so happy that you did the same thing. So for everyone out there in the chat, if you haven't drank your beer, drink it along with us tonight. So Chad, what's the plan tonight? What are we doing?
All right. So first of all, I think we need to just get a cheers going. So cheers, everyone. All right, so we'll be with you for about 15-ish minutes. We'll be teaching you what it's going to look like tonight. Our content is 5-step beer appraisal. We're going to give you this skinny on how this beer, the Golden Jelly Donut Hanukkah beer, got its name, and then get into a little bit of info about Kosher Beer.
Awesome. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the Old Town IPA last night and the City Brew Tour Slack channel. People wouldn't stop talking about it. And so tonight and every night, we encourage you to drink this beer with us. If you have the willpower, I'm assuming that someone has drank all 8 of their beers already. So tonight, this is the Hebrew Jelly Donut Ale. And before we go any further, just like our 2 pieces of housekeeping thing is we have a chat moderator. Kate is with us. We encourage you to use the chat for banter, tasting notes, anything you want to say about my mustache or Chad not taking his hat off. And we also have a Q&A. That's for any questions you have for us. That's monitored by Kate as well. So we'll get back to you about anything you want to know.
Kate is drinking, by the way, as well. So if she's a little slow to get in touch with you, you know why. So just keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm so excited to tell you about this beer. But before we do, Todd, why are you leading and qualified to host this type of experience?
Well, so it's an interesting question because I remember being kind of voluntold by you since you're my boss. But besides that, I'm the City Brew Tour sales manager. I also have been a beer guide in 2 of our cities, both Boston and Burlington. I now live in Shelburne, Vermont, outside of Burlington, Vermont, where we got our start. My fun Jewish facts about me. I have 2 really good ones. I had my bar mitzvah in Jerusalem, and my grandparents on my mom's side were married on Christmas and they didn't see any reason why that might be a date not to get married. They didn't know anyone who wouldn't be able to come. So I think I'm uniquely qualified. And Chad, I don't do anything without doing my research as well. So why am I going to spend the next 7 nights with you?
Well, besides, like you said, I am your boss. I'm also the founder of City Brew Tours. I'm also a certified Cicerone. So if people aren't familiar with a Cicerone, think about it as you have the wine sommeliers. Well, a Cicerone is a beer sommelier. So that makes me a little bit qualified to be able to be with you guys. Also, for a fun Jewish fact, they're not as fun as yours, but I'm going to say I met my wife at a Jewish event, and it was called Gin and Jews. So I think that's pretty funny.
And you finish the story. Why she almost didn't think that you were supposed to be there.
Yeah, I'm like 6'2", and that's really tall for Jews, I guess. And so she thought I was in the wrong place, and whatever.
I love that. So,
right.
And now that you know about us, we want to know about you. Put it in the chat. Let us know where you're celebrating and drinking from. Chad, tell us a little about this beer.
All right. So our first beer, I'm gonna just hold it up right here for everyone to see beautifully, as you guys all have it in your hand. Our first beer is our Golden Jelly Donut Hanukkah beer. This is coming from Hebrew, or also known as Schmaltz Brewing Company. Schmaltz Brewing Company was founded in 1996. It's actually going to be, we should say happy birthday to Schmaltz, because they're celebrating their 24th year in business. So really awesome. Founder Jeremy Cowan started it over 24 years ago.
It's always great when you can legally drink beer with breweries because they're old enough. So since this is a Hebrew beer, it's fitting for Hanukkah. This beer has 8 malts, get it, 8 hops, also get it, right, Chad? We're catching on, and it is 8% alcohol by volume. So this donut pastry ale is brewed with 600 pounds per batch of real purees of raspberry and cherry, and there's a ton of pure vanilla in there. So if you get that kind of natural bakery flavor, that's that vanilla coming through. And it is a glorious tribute to our beloved Sufganiyot, which dates back to the 1500s, Chad.
That is true. It is a very old pastry. I actually am very lucky. I have one right here. Wow, look at that. So just for people that aren't familiar with Sufganiyot or Sufganiya, if it's in one, this pastry, as Todd said, goes back to the 1500s. It actually is derived from the name Sufan, which means to be fried or spongy. As you can see, donuts are one of those things. And because of the oil, and that kind of goes all along with the Hanukkah story, it's one of a very popular food during this time of year. So popular, in fact, can you, Todd, guess how many people consume Sufganiyot in Israel during this time of year?
I literally received a picture of my 1-year-old nephew eating one yesterday, so I assume like all of them, maybe 80%.
So they sell 18 million of these delicious little donuts each year. That actually equates to 3 jelly donuts. That's why we're saying the Hebrew name for them, but they're jelly donuts. 3 per person in Israel. That's a lot.
That's
a lot of
absolutely
donuts.
Incredible, Chad. I'm kind of jealous, to be honest. We asked people where they're from. 2 people from Chicago. Shout out Chicago. I'm from Chicago. There's another tall Jew who said that. We've got people from New York, Jamaica Plain. It's very fun in there.
We've got Fairfax, Virginia. That's pretty close. We've got a tours almost right over there. We've got Queens. Got a lot of good people out. Connecticut. Got some great. Well,
love it.
We're so excited that you guys are here. Drinking with us. So do we do another cheers? There's not going to be like 2 little
cheers to the jelly donut, right?
Cheers to jelly donuts.
I've got a 1 tail at a time dog rescue glass. So I got my dog in Chicago. Highly recommended.
Yeah, mine's a City Brew Tours glass.
Very fitting, Chad.
I had a little bit of glass anxiety. I was like, what glass should I be using?
Moriel Daniel, fostering and adopted from 1 tail at a time. Look at that.
That is crazy.
It's the best thing.
All right.
And
so
let's get into what we've got for the people tonight, Chad.
So I think it's appraisal time, but I'm kind of like blurry. Am I blurry to you? I feel like I need
You're blurry to me.
Oh,
there you are. It's because you cheers.
That's the trick. Oh, it was the cheers. It was the cheers. I thought I was just drinking. This isn't my first beer tonight, so like I had to confirm it with you. If I
saw that you were blurry, and I was like, oh, I just need to go to bed. That's fine.
All right. So I think it's time to do a professional beer appraisal of this beer. Is that the time?
It's what we've got to do tonight. Let's hear it.
All right. So to do a professional beer appraisal, there's actually 5 steps, right? And the first step is going to be appearance. So when you look at this beer, you're going to look at the color. So like the name, Golden Jelly Donut, what color, Todd, would you say this beer is?
I would say this is golden. I think we're getting a little of those like little toasty malts too, because it's a little
Yeah,
a little amber,
I would give it
right?
a little bit of an amber tinge to it as well. But yeah, so appearance, that's going to tell you quite a bit about the beer. So it's going to tell you if maybe it was filtered or unfiltered. This beer actually I can't speak to because I don't know exactly if it was filtered or unfiltered, so I'm not going to go there. But appearance is going to tell you color about the beer, what types of malt were potentially used. And as you said, Todd, 8 different malts are used in this grain bill, so quite a bit. All right, next step.
What's next?
So next step is going to be the aromatics of the beer. So I want you to take a big whiff of this beer. Get your nose in there. Be careful not to snort. That will hurt if you snort beer. I'm getting some cherry, definitely a little bit cherry, maybe, and some raspberry.
I get
very
raspberry,
tart on the nose.
I get a little of the booziness. I'm super sensitive to that personally. So I'm always gonna, I don't know, I'm curious what the chat thinks, what they smell, but I definitely get a little of the booziness. You might be wondering, Chad and I are using some terms that might be a little out of your vocabulary unless you pulled this out in night 1. Does this look familiar? Check this out if you're not there already. We have our flavor wheel. Ooh, raspberry, cherry, both in the chat.
And
does anyone else get booze? Does anyone get a little bit of the alcohol? Or maybe it's just me. Chad, do you get it?
It's a tiny bit of like a hot alcohol characteristic, but not really. More of just that cherry,
fruit,
and also a little breadiness. I get like, honestly, I'm definitely gonna have this jelly donut at some point tonight. Maybe it's gonna be with you guys. I don't know. We'll see how much self-control I have, and if I have to share it with my wife. So we'll see.
Okay, someone said a little bit of booziness. Maybe maybe it's just that I'm
vanilla.
very sensitive.
A little bit of the bakery smell. I like that. That's definitely. I can see
perceptive.
that. Yeah. Matthew, good call. Very good call with that bakery smell. All right, next step. Obviously, this is going to be one of my favorite steps. Is going to be the taste. Everyone, let's taste this beer. And when you take a sip of this beer, I want you to kind of, I forgot. I'm sorry for the aromatics. So if you have, when we do our IPAs or whatnot, a great way to get a bigger aromatics besides sticking your nose like all the way in there is you can go like this. So kind of, it's kind of hard because you have to be moving like 2 hands. Todd's pretty good at it.
I always recommend licking your hand afterwards. It's disgusting, but.
And you look like a savage.
I guarantee it.
Good thing we're not in bars. You doing that.
Definitely not now.
So yeah, so you're gonna do the taste. So when you have a taste of this beer, I want you to kind of focus it to go on the front of your palate a little bit. This on the first sip.
So when Chad's saying front of the palate while he's drinking, that just means the front of your tongue. Up your tongue has different parts of your taste buds.
And now I want you to take another sip and kind of focus on the back of your palate.
The way you taste, my trick for the back of the palate is pretend it's a tequila shot.
So when I took a sip at the first sip, I got a little bit more of that sweetness from the berries, because you're gonna have more taste receptors that are gonna get sweetness on the front of your palate, but on the back is gonna be like bitterness. You're gonna see it more again with IPAs, but this one, you're not gonna get as much of that cherry note. So when I'm having this beer, I'm going to want to have it go across the entire palate because I don't want that super sweet flavor profile in this beer. And what I've actually noticed about this beer is as it's sitting in my hand, it's getting so much better. So like there are some beers you just don't want to keep that cold because you need them to open up. And so I'm going to probably nurse this
minimizes
thing.
Cold kills our taste receptors. That's a thing. The other thing for taste receptors, you've noticed Chad and I, we pulled these beers out of our boxes. The first thing both of us did, we took these cans and we poured them directly into glasses. So why are we doing that? There's 2 things going on here. When you drink out of a can, my nose comes right over the little hole, right? Doesn't with the glass. So smell, huge portion of our taste, like 60%, right, Chad?
That is correct, Todd. 60%. So fun little exercise. Well, I have 2 fun exercises because right now you're not with me, but I would actually make you do something silly. But when you're with people, you can make them do something silly. And they'll be, so I want you to take 2 fingers. And then if you would take those 2 fingers and you wiggle them behind your glass like this, and you ask your friends, can you see your fingers? This is going to tell you 2 different things about this beer. It's going to tell you if it's a hazy beer, if it went to that filtration process that we talked about. It's also going to say you're willing to do anything I say when it comes to tasting beer. So don't actually do that. You'd be tricking your friends.
Trick your friends with it. Don't do it to pretend you're an expert.
Yeah.
Use it as a trick.
Exactly. Another thing that you can do, this is not a trick, but if you're talking about the sense of smell, hold your nose. Ready? Take a sip. Completely different flavor profile. It would get like nothing. I don't know if other people feel that way.
I just get the sweetness at the back end, but it's like a whole different experience.
I get really like sweetness when I hold my nose. I don't get any of that that malt backbone, which is what I really want to balance out that sweetness.
Mm-hmm. And we have one Q&A question that Kate said that we would answer live, and let's get to it now, Chad, so that other people will ask us questions as well. This is probably the question you and I have been asked most frequently.
Where do we get these jackets? No.
That happens a lot. It's also like, how are you so handsome? Like all of those things.
How'd you get such a great mustache?
I think someone actually put that in the chat already. Like I've literally seen that. Like it's remarkable. What is your favorite type of beer, Chad?
Oh, that's a loaded question because it's going to be based on the weather and my feeling. So if it's going to be like a super nice day out, a little bit warm, I might want a German Goza, which is a beer that has salt and coriander. It's like the Gatorade of beer. Versus if it's going to be, we're getting into wintertime, or we are in wintertime. I don't know if we're in wintertime yet, but I'm going to want something like more dark, maybe an Imperial Stout. So it's just going to be, it just kind of depends. If I'm chilling, maybe I want a Helles Lager.
Okay.
Todd, what about you?
My answer is pretty straightforward when I get asked this question. I like beer that tastes like juice. So just like the fruitier, like those hazy IPAs that are juicy, give them to me. I like them. I have a sweet tooth. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, Michael says Belgian quad. I love a good Belgian quad. So
I love a good Belgian quad too. I think on the 4th of July, maybe that might be like, those are a lot. So I sort of am with you there.
A Belgian quad on the 4th of July. I want one like now.
That's what I'm saying, is that I think it's a different experience drinking one in the winter than in the middle of the summer when you can't like stop sweating. But yeah, I hear that.
All right, let's get back into our tasting because we only got through 3 steps and there's
3
5.
steps. We got 2 left.
We got a little sidetracked. So the next step is going to be mouthfeel. So the mouthfeel is going to be how does this sit on your palate? Is it going to be like a milk or is it going to be very watery? So kind of thinking about when you take a sip of this beer, you think of like light-bodied, medium-bodied, heavy-bodied? This is gonna where does that fall? Heavy body being like that, like an Imperial Stout, milky, really almost like it lingers so much versus something that's gonna be like an American Pilsner water, something that's just gonna go down and you can maybe push a can through it. Push a key through it and put it to your face. So
yeah, we're lucky that this isn't actually jelly because that would be a pretty thick in the mouthfeel. I think this is, I don't think this is the lightest beer I've ever tasted. I don't think this is the thickest beer I've ever tasted. I'd probably, like, if we're thinking of it as a spectrum, I'm probably somewhere between light and medium.
Yeah,
for me.
I would say it's a little bit, it's not medium, but I would say it's like a little bit higher than medium. It is a pretty boozy beer, 8%. I would almost maybe kind of a lightweight. I mean, I am 6'2", but like, I'm a cheap date. But so you get the alcohol does give this a little bit more body, and you can and definitely taste that.
And I'm used to it in Vermont. All that we have up here are double IPAs that are 8%. So like I'm used to that kind of like those thicker mouthfeel, like with lactose, a little heavier. So, but yeah, I think I'm comfortable calling this medium. That's good with me.
We got someone. Brian wants us to address Ariel's question at some point.
Ariel's question.
I'm afraid to touch Zoom because I think I'll break something. So can you tell me?
I've got Ariel's question.
Oh,
Hi
Kate.
guys, it's Kate the
Kate.
Cat Cat.
Kate, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Thanks for being our moderator
I'm so
and being
happy
with
to be
us for
here.
7 nights as well.
Yeah.
Everyone, let's thank Kate for being awesome.
Kate.
Thanks, guys. All right. So Ariel's question is: should we take the beer for the night, out of the box in advance so it's not too cold when you drink it? Good question, Ariel.
It's a good question, Ariel. That's a stumper one. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a stumper one. It's going to really depend on the style of beer, but you don't want beer, like Todd said, as cold as the Rockies. You don't want a glass that is as cold as
Frosted
Antarctica.
over.
Yeah, you don't want that. You want your beer to be like chilled, but not super cold. If your can is turning blue, you probably should just throw that can away.
Or you might want to be
Or it's a
drinking it because
Hanukkah.
maybe that was the intended thing, like so that you don't taste it too much. But yeah, I think the straight answer about taking it out is that I think you're going to want to drink these beers cold. I think you're not going to want to put them in the freezer, but they're going to warm up unless you're chugging them. You're going to get a little bit of a full experience in the 20 minutes that you're drinking it because it changes pretty quickly, especially.
Definitely drinking. We're drinking with intention right now, obviously. So this is a sensory experience. The first sip that you took is going to be different than that last sip that you take, and especially because it's sitting in your hand.
And Robert asked if this was an ale. It is an ale.
Yes, it is.
All right. Yes.
Last step in the appraisal is going to be the finish. Does this beer linger on your palate? Does it force you to want to take another sip? Don't fight that urge. Let's do it. And I want to take another sip. I'm still not going to fight it. So it's lingering a little bit, and that booziness I think does allow it to.
It goes up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I love that cherry finish.
Someone mentioned playing beer pong with Trillium, and I think that if you tried to shotgun one of these beers, like towards the end of that experience, you would definitely be feeling the 8%. So yeah, I think it's relatively smooth. It doesn't linger too much, but definitely can feel it. I agree with you completely there.
So that is what a 5-step beer appraisal is. We are not going to do that every night because that took a really long time. But now that you guys are experts, and we're actually going to we could talk about the blog, right? Because there's a post.
Oh, we are absolutely going to talk
right
about
now that actually has the 5-step beer appraisal visual, so you can so you don't have to memorize this experience. You can actually just go on to City Brew Tours /Hanukkah and just see that. And every day,
call your friend, tuck the 5 steps behind them, talk them through it. They'll be like, wow, you learned so much. You don't even have to remember it. So speaking of the blog chat, we're going to be posting blogs after this every night. So the one thing that we wanted to talk about tonight that's going to be coming up after this, citybrewtours.com/Hanukkah, starting with an H, not a CH. So kosher beer. So kosher beer is super interesting. So beer in its natural state has 4 ingredients, right? There's water, barley, malt, yeast. 4 things. And those 4 ingredients in their natural state.
You combine them. You forgot hops there.
What did I say? Water.
You've been drinking.
Oh, I just say malt and barley.
You
water,
did.
Hops.
That's what I'm here for, Todd. I'm just here to make sure.
Water, hops, barley, yeast. If you count barley and malt twice, you get 5 ingredients. Still.
And love.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
I'll give you that one. Considered parv. They don't have meat or dairy. Okay for consumption according to a kosher diet. There's way more information in the blog that we wrote about that, citybrewtours.com/Hanukkah. So Chad, what's in store for the next 6 nights?
Wait, so I just want to just so you guys understand. So the beer that we have right here, this is actually kosher. You can see the KSA. This has actually been this is one of the only beers in our boxes that actually has the hexture on it. Oh, see, it caused me to go blurry again.
You're blurry again.
It's just it knows when
I don't know, maybe it's just
when I
me.
put beer next to it, it goes blurry. It's like the camera's getting drunk. I
I
don't
can't tell
understand.
if I'm drunk or if it's you.
So this is going to be the only beer that actually has the hector on it. But we worked with different breweries to put together this box to make sure that it is all Reinheitsgebot beer. So it is beer that only uses those 4 ingredients in it. So like Todd said, all those ingredients are part of beer in itself that follows that Reinheitsgebot. We didn't say it, Todd, but I'm just going to do it. I just really want to get not blurry.
You should have seen Chad trying to get his AirPods connected this morning for our meeting.
All right, I give up. You guys are just gonna. I apologize. So Reinheitsgebot. So Todd, you always butcher it, but you can try.
Reinheitsgebot. Is that you? It's like hard to get that like German sounding chesty feeling for me, like to get that really out. But I think I nailed it, especially with you poking me.
This person. This person suggested poking with a finger. Chris, you're just making me look like a fool, but I'm gonna do it.
He's using your own tricks against you.
He is doing it.
We gave him the keys to the kingdom, and they're already using them against us.
Oh
We're not coming back
tomorrow. I can't even believe.
It.
I can't believe because we've been remote for before COVID,
and
I still COVID. Crazy. All right, so Todd, I just wanted to add that about the kosher side of things. Do you want to talk?
And I think before we go, I don't have anything going on. I literally haven't had anything going on since like early March. So I do want to get to a couple more of these questions. One of the questions is, what got both of you into the beer industry / what got you hooked on beer? Presumptuous that we're hooked on beer. A very fair assumption, though.
I can say, so I studied abroad in Vienna, Austria. And so they really loved their beer in Germany and Austria. I went on Oktoberfest, came back. So that was my first taste of beer. And then coming back to the States after studying abroad and then actually not being 21. So it was like, oh my God, I've been drinking for the past year and now I can't drink anymore. But that really got me interested in beer. And then I started City Brew Tours, which
yeah,
obviously
that might have had
continued
something to
that process.
So something I thought about earlier today, Chad, is that Chad and I actually met over video call on Skype like 13 years ago because you were studying abroad when we met. For me, what got me hooked on beer is I went to college in Burlington, Vermont, and Burlington, Vermont, it's like when I was there, 2007, craft beer was just exploding. So it was like just super fun to be able to get new beers and try new things. And it's cool being able to turn drinking into a hobby and then into a job. So like, I think that, there are many cool things about beer. I think it's a great way to learn about a city. And like, I like to eat and drink. So
one of the things that people do, like because we run these tours, obviously pre-COVID, is that's how people kind of explore that new city is by going on a city brew tour to be able to experience that area's craft beer. And so, like you said, Todd, great way. Whenever I go to a new area, I do it by going to the different breweries in that area to kind of get that cultural feel of that city.
Great. I think let's do, I have 3 more. One of them is Todd specific. It'll take 2 seconds. Bottles versus cans, what is better?
Are you asking me or you're going to give that answer?
I can give the answer. I think you're going to see more frequently that craft breweries are using more cans compared to bottles. What's great about cans is if you drop them, they don't break as easily. I mean, they definitely can break, but glass shatters. It's a mess. Also, light is dangerous to beer. So aluminum doesn't allow light in. And then, Chad, for you, Scott's question, who picked the beers in this box and what was the selection process like?
So we went to all of our different partners and we're like, hey, we're building this Hanukkah experience. So this box had a little bit of some limitations in regards to the types of beers because we did want to keep it to that kosher Reinheitsgebot style. But we wanted to also show a wide variety of beer. There's going to be people that get this box that only like hazy IPAs. I'm sorry, but this is supposed to also be an educational experience and to open up your palate to find different styles of beer that might interest you. And so that's kind of how that process was like. We're looking at different styles and how those different styles kind of compared with one another and in the order that you're tasting them as well.
Perfect. And then someone asked me about the dog that I adopted and schlepped across the country. Her name's Olive now. She was pokey when we got her. She was tiny. We drove her across the country in a Fiat. It was an incredible story. So this is not our last night. Come back tomorrow. There are 6 more nights.
6 more nights, guys.
6 more nights of us. Maybe Chad and I will wear the same thing tomorrow.
We are going.
Coincidence.
Who knows?
You never know. We wake up, see what happens, go from there. Same time, same place, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hey guys, can I pipe in with one more question that I think is specific to this night?
Of course, Kate, you can always pipe in whenever you want to talk.
Of course.
People want to hear. They said you sound famous.
They said you're supposed to host our podcast.
Who knows?
You do have a very good podcast voice. So maybe we switch and Kate sits here and wears my blazer.
Any chance you and I have to get off video is welcome. So Kate, what do we got?
All right. So we have a question. It says, are there other brands making jelly donut beers? I don't know if you guys are going to know the answer, but I thought it was fair since we were tasting a jelly donut beer this evening.
So I don't know of any jelly donut beers, but one fun thing that you can do.
Talking, I'm going to Google it.
Yeah, you Google that. One thing you can do is you can kind of create that sensation by doing food. And we're going to talk about how you pair food and beer in a future date. So don't miss a night because you might miss the food and beer pairing experience night. But just to do a very quick aside, think of something sweet, maybe a jam, maybe something bready that has a big malt backbone, drink them together, and you might be able to experience that same jelly donut style. I would probably go with a dark, what would I go with? I would go with something that's Belgian and dark. A double with something jelly, something sweet that has some raspberry or cherries will recreate that experience.
Totally. And I think there are definitely commercial examples that are going to be similar to this. I think Rogue used to make something and it was like more of a donut beer, not necessarily raspberry or jelly. But there are definitely tons of fruit beers on the market if you're just looking for that fruit experience. Fruity IPAs even now.
And I'm seeing in the chat, we've got the Ellicottville Super Duper Jelly. Someone, Leah, let us know about that. So thanks, Leah.
That's awesome. Look at that.
I don't know where Ellicottville is. If I was guessing, I'm thinking maybe is that Maryland? I don't know. We'll never know. It's in New York. Okay. A cousin.
Elisa talked about Gelt. I forgot we have Gelt. So Gelt and this beer are going to go really well together. Think about it. Chocolate and jam, they already go hand in hand. If anyone's had a chocolate cake that has that raspberry filling, raspberry chocolate cake, done.
It's the best thing in the world. It's literally the best thing in the world. I'm going to eat some now, Chad. I forgot, and then you reminded me, and now I'm going to eat.
Look how much dessert I have. Like, I have a lot of dessert. I'm going to be up all night.
The plate matches the blazer unbelievably.
We were supposed to have a party, a Hanukkah party, but guess what? We can't. But this is what we have if we were to have a Hanukkah party. So I'm ready. I'm ready for next year at least.
All right, Chad, you're going to have this party. It'll be you and your dog, Oliver, your wife and baby. I'm going to eat the rest of this candy.
We hope everyone, so we'll see you guys all tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Check out the blog. There are going to be other questions that people have asked. Ask those questions.
What can they do with questions too if they're not asked?
They can send it to, support? It was originally my email address, but then Like, I really don't
Chad
want
has
to
7,000 unread
I have
emails.
way too many emails, and I just archive them, and there's no order to the madness. So support at Brew Tour. I'm sorry, Kate. I'm gonna just send them to you. I hope that's okay. So it's gonna be support at
Totally cool.
citybrewtours.com.
Yes,
And
indeed.
yeah, so support at citybrewtours.com. We'll throw it in the chat. Any questions? We're actually updating those blogs live for tomorrow. They'll go live they're already live now at 9:25. The content will be live on the website. And
Keep
then,
talking. I have 2 pieces left.
oh my God, you are just housing that chocolate.
I'm
So yeah,
obsessed.
9:20, those 9:20 at night, those blogs will go live. And any of your questions that we talked about here or in general, we're going to update those blogs in the morning with those questions, so you can get your answers to those questions. So it is that
So
comprehensive content.
just like my Jewish family members trying to leave a party, we've said we were going to leave and we've never left.
And we haven't left. I know it's
the oldest trick in the book. Thank you all for coming and joining us tonight. We will be back tomorrow and then the rest of Hanukkah. Chad, I will see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow, Todd. I will see everyone else tomorrow as well.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Cheers, guys.